Our top focus this hour, the Israeli military has claimed that its air defenses intercepted 2 projectiles that crossed from Lebanon into northern Israel. In fact, this comes hours after President Donald Trump said that Israel and Hezbollah have agreed to stop fighting, adding that Iran talks were moving rapidly after seeming to falter over Israel's Lebanon offensive. President Trump said that he'd even spoken with Israeli Prime Minister and had a very good call through unnamed representatives with Hezbollah. No US president notably has ever spoken with the Hezbollah camp with or without intermediaries. The group is designated as a terror organization by the US. In a post on his Truth Social network, Trump claimed that the Iran-backed group agreed all shooting will stop, while Netanyahu agreed to call off military raid on Beirut. Trump's comments came after Iran's news agency had reported that Tehran had suspended dialogue with mediators in protest of Israel's expanding offensive in Lebanon against the Hezbollah camp. The Israeli leader had ordered strikes on what he called terror targets in Beirut's southern suburbs in response to rocket and drone attacks by Hezbollah camp. The visuals on your screens right now show aftermath of an Israeli strike near a hospital in Tyre. A report in the US news outlet Axios said that Trump called the Israeli premier crazy and accused him of putting Iran talks at risk. Netanyahu, after Trump's announcement, said that his country would strike Beirut if Hezbollah does not stop attacking Israel. Trump even doubled down after Netanyahu's statement, saying in a further Truth Social post that the Israel leader had turned his troops around from a planned major raid on Beirut. Netanyahu may also be facing internal pressure, with Israel's Minister of National Security having called on Netanyahu to say no to Trump and continue with the strikes. And to discuss more on Israel-Hezbollah tensions, we earlier spoke with Trita Parsi from Washington, D.C., who is co-founder of the Quincy Institute, a Substack author and a West Asia expert. Here's an excerpt of the conversation we had earlier.
It's unclear whether Trump will succeed in pressuring Netanyahu into upholding and respecting the ceasefire. Of course, Hezbollah would have to do the same thing. But what is at the heart of this is that the Iranians insist that any end to the fighting, end to the war between the US and Iran also has to be accompanied by a regional ceasefire in which the Israelis cease their attacks on Lebanon, on Gaza, and other places. And the Iranians have insisted on this from the very beginning because they believe that if Israel is allowed to continue to bomb these countries, that instability will eventually spill over into another Israeli-Iranian war, just as it already has twice. And as a result, any deal, particularly with major Iranian concessions to the US, is not worth it if the Israelis are left free to restart the war. But it's also a way for them to test whether Trump is capable and willing to restrain the Israelis, because if he isn't, or if he can't, then the value of a ceasefire or a deal with the United States may be very limited. And this is what Trump is at this point trying to do. He's trying to pressure the Israelis to respect the ceasefire in order for him to be able to strike a deal with the Iranians. And now we see that the Israelis are doing quite a lot in order to defy Trump. And the ball is in many ways back in Trump's court. Is he going to put real and sustained pressure on Netanyahu to cease his destabilizing activities in the region in order for Trump to be able to end the war with Iran?